Dr. Phil is a show about learning, and today in this video, I'm going to cover 10 interviews in Dr. Phil we could all learn something from. Welcome back to the Screen Cinema. Let's get into the video. Number 10, Terry and Sherry. Sherry came to Dr. Phil after finding out that her husband of 11 years, Terry, had been cheating on her throughout their relationship. To make matters worse, Terry fathered a child with his mistress, Crystal, but he insisted that the child wasn't his, a diamond in the rough. Tensions were high between Terry, Sherry, and Crystal, but Dr. Phil took a moment to remind the women that it was Terry who victimized the both of them and that their qualms should be with him alone. Too often do people fail to identify the correct enemy in a conflict. Dr. Phil showed us that this is in fact possible when we rely more on rationale than emotion.
It's on my cell phone.
You have it? It's on your cell phone now?
Yeah, and I also...
Number 9, give her more love and less money. In one Dr. Phil episode, 15-year-old Nicolette was frustrated with her mom after her weekly allowance was reduced from $5,000 a month to $1,000 a month. Nicolette was so obsessed with rocking designer brands and stunning in cars she legally could not drive herself that she broke down in tears when the prospect of getting a job was brought up. Dr. Phil told Nicolette's mother that she needed to redefine their relationship by giving Nicolette more love and less money. This isn't just a lesson for mother and daughter, all humans crave love. Money is just a bonus.
Go to public school for other reasons.
Why not?
I just got traumatized. I can't get into that right now, but...
Number 8, Orlando Brown. Many may remember Orlando Brown as Eddie on the hit Disney Channel show That's So Raven. A few years ago, Brown shocked the internet in several videos featuring absurd psychotic behavior between his run-ins with the police. When he appeared on Dr. Phil and Brown dove into Brown's crystal meth use. Most people might not know just how dangerous drugs like crystal meth can be, but Dr. Phil used Brown's altered state of mind to prove just how damaging it is. Brown stated that he had 4 kids, but when Dr. Phil asked him to tell the ages of the children, Orlando's answers were drastically different than before. And they didn't even make sense. According to Orlando, one child was in the womb for 2 whole years. While Brown ultimately declined Dr. Phil's help, this interview serves as a powerful reminder to the rest of us to avoid even dabbling in addictive substances like crystal meth.
Child has been in there for 2 years.
Number 7, you never surrender to the disease of addiction. Addiction isn't anything to joke about. According to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, 19.7 million Americans above the age of 12 battled a substance use disorder in 2017. During an intense interview, Glenn revealed his addiction to painkillers for over a decade, and Dr. Phil made sure that his wife, Jody, was aware that her reaction to his addiction wasn't helping him get better. He suggested that Jody keep working with her husband until his addiction is eradicated, telling her that surrendering to addiction is something you don't do. Not only is this good advice for the family and friends of those suffering from some form of addiction, but it's also perfect for those who are struggling to get over an addiction themselves. Just because they've tried and failed over 100 times doesn't mean they should quit.
Real objection. Is your objection that this is a...
Number 6, Bailey and Jasmine. 21-year-old Bailey, who gained notoriety after appearing on Dr. Phil, confident that Jasmine, a complete stranger who she'd found on social media, was her soulmate. This obsession was just downright creepy, and when Bailey proceeded to play the victim on stage, Dr. Phil shut the entire interview down, refusing to tolerate Bailey's melodrama. When Bailey attempted to apologize, Dr. Phil denied her apology, showing us all that playing the victim can only get you so far, not just with Dr. Phil, but with life in general.
Well, and then February, assault again, this time hand around the neck, throws you against the wall.
Number 5, Bam Margera. Former Jackass star Bam Margera hasn't really had the best of luck these days. Among his many problems, Margera identified his mother and wife as stressors in an interview with Dr. Phil. Margera claimed that his mother was driving him crazy and constantly vocalizing her disapproval of his lifestyle. Dr. Phil's solution to this dilemma was pretty simple. If Margera's mother was so stressful, why even engage with her in the first place? Margera and his mother were fine with this solution, and it's one that we can all implement ourselves. Anyone who doesn't add value to our lives can take a one-way ticket out of them.
Figure out what's going on with you so that you don't have to be in rehab.
Number 4, time heals nothing, it's what you do with that time. In an episode dedicated to the bullying that goes on in schools all across the country, Dr. Phil sat down with 3 girls who were struggling with bullies despite transferring to different schools several times. Dr. Phil helped them regain agency over the situation by turning a popular dogma on its head, telling the teens that time heals nothing, but it's what you do with that time that truly matters.
You know, you're half white and you're half black, correct?
Number 3, Catch Me Outside. If there's one thing that people despise Dr. Phil for, it's for launching the career of the young Daniel Bergoli. Bergoli's mother turned to Dr. Phil to curb the 13-year-old's temper and dangerous behavioral issues. When mocked by the audience, Bergoli threatened them with her infamous slogan, "Catch Me Outside," which she learned from the streets. Nobody knew it at the time, but this moment kicked off a music career that would lead to her collaborating with famous rappers like YBN Namir, Lil Yachty, YG, and Kodak Black. If anything, the viral interview taught us that more often than not, Dr. Phil can, in fact, help individuals get to a better place. Whether or not it's the place they need to be or deserve is up for debate.
I'm prepared to always be tough, and that way I don't
Number 2, Dr. Phil versus Robert. When parents go on Dr. Phil, they often request help in fixing their child's problematic behavior, but Dr. Phil never hesitates to grill the parents on what they're doing wrong as well. When Robert went on the show in an effort to correct his daughter, Sadara's behavioral problems, Dr. Phil questioned Robert about his disrespect of the Dr. Phil production staff. Viewers were shocked to hear that Robert used some homophobic slurs to describe the outfit picked out for him by the show's producers and inappropriately hit on the makeup artist despite having a wife. While this interview taught us to often look at ourselves before pointing the finger at someone else, there's another lesson that's now been engraved in our brains. You do not want to mess with Dr. Phil's staff ever.
Is it an example of belligerence?
If a camera followed you around and took a snippet.
Number 1, King Keith. King Keith, otherwise known as Eric, was a 20-year-old who was set on achieving fame as a musician. While he definitely possessed some vocal talents, he didn't possess the drive to go to college or work. When Dr. Phil couldn't get through to him on his own, he enlisted the help of Grammy-winning producer and songwriter David Foster, who helped give King Keith a much-needed reality check. King Keith could have all the talent in the world. If he refused to network, he'd never become the commercial artist he always dreamed of. The same logic applies for aspiring writers, actors, directors, and even doctors and lawyers. You could have all the skills to be the best, but if you don't put yourself on display while working towards your dreams, they will never manifest.
Pay utilities, you help pay groceries, you do chores around the house,
And I do that.
you contribute, you pitch in, you do.
This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.